Plant kingdom. In the previous chapter, we looked at the broad classification of living organisms under the system of proposed by Whitaker 1969, wherein he suggested the five kingdom classification via Monera, Protista, Fungi, Animalia, and Plantae. In this chapter, we will deal in detail with further classification with kingdom Plantae, popularly known as the plant kingdom. We must stress here that our understanding of the plant kingdom has changed over time. Fungi and members of Monera and Protista having cell walls have now been excluded from Plantae, though earlier classifications placed them in the same kingdom. So the cyanobacteria that are also referred to as blue-green algae are not algae anymore. In this chapter we will describe algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm and angiosperm under Plantae. Let us also look at classification within angiosperm to understand some of the concerns that influenced the classification system. The earliest systems of classification used only gross superficial morphological characters such as habit, color, number, and shape of leaves, etc. They were based mainly on vegetative characters or on the Androecium structure system given by Linnaeus. Such systems were artificial. They separate the closely related species since they were based on a few characteristics. Also, the artificial systems gave equal weightage to vegetative and sexual characteristics. This is not accepted since we know that often the vegetative characters are more easily affected by environment. As against this, natural classification system developed, which were based on the natural affinities among the organism and consider not only the external feature but also the internal features like ultrastructure, anatomy, embryology, and physiochemistry, such as classification for following plants was given by George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. At present, phy- At present, phylogenetic classification system based on the evolutionary relationship between the various organisms are accepted. This assumes that organisms belong to the same taxa have a common ancestor. We now use information from many other sources to help resolve difficulties in classification. This become more important when there is no supporting fossil evidence. Numerical taxonomy, which is now easily carried out using computers, is based on all observable characteristics. Numbers and codes are assigned to all the characters and the data are then processed. In this way, each character is given equal importance and at the same time hundreds of characters can be considered. Cytotaxonomy, that is based on cytological information like chromosomes, number, structures, behavior, and chemotaxonomy that used the chemical constituents of the plant to resolve confusion are also used by taxonomists this day. Algae. Algae are chlorophyll bearing simple, tolloid, autotrophic, and largely aquatic, both freshwater and marine organisms. They occur in a variety of other habitats, moist stones, soils, and wood. Some of them also occur in association with fungi, lichen, and animals. Example on slot beer. The form and size of algae is highly variable, ranging from colonial forms like volvox and the filamentous form like Eulothrix and Spirogyra. A few of the marine forms such as kelps forms massive plant bodies. The algae reproduce by vegetative, asexual and sexual method. Vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation. Each fragment develops into a thallus. Asexual reproduction is by the production of different types of spores. The most common being the zoospore. They are flagellated, motile, and on germination gives rise to new plants. Sexual reproduction takes place through fusions of two gametes. These gametes can be filamentous and similar in size in Euthyrox, or non-filamentous, non-motile, but similar in size as in Spirogyra. Such reproduction is called isogamous. Fusion of two gametes dissimilar in size as in species of Eudorina is termed as angiogamy. Fusion between one large non-motile static female gametes and a smaller motile male gamete is termed oogamous. Example: Olvax focus. Algae are useful to man in a variety of ways. At least half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on Earth is carried out by algae through photosynthesis. Being photosynthetic, they increase the level of dissolved oxygen in their immediate environment. They are of paramount importance as primary producers of energy-rich components, which forms the basis of the food cycle of all aquatic animals. Many species of Porphyra, Laminari, and Sargassum are among the 70 species of marine algae are used as food. Certain marine brown algae, red algae produce large amount of hydrochloric water halogen substance, example algin, brown algae and carrageen, red algae, which are used commercially. Agar, one of the commercial products obtained from Gelidium and Gracilaris, are used to grow microbes and in preparations of ice creams and jellies. Chlorella, a unicellular algae rich in protein, is used as food supplement even by space travelers. The algae are divided into three main classes: chlorophysis, phaeophysis, and rhodophysis. Chlorophysis. The membranes of chlorophysis, of commonly called green algae. The plant body may be unicellular, colonial, or filamentous. They are usually grass green due to the dominance of pigment chlorophyll A and B. The pigments are localized in the definite chloroplast. The chloroplast may be discoid, plate-like, reticulate, cup-shaped, spiral, or ribbon-shaped. In different species, most of the members have one or more storage bodies called pyrenoid located in the chloroplast. Pyrenoid contain protein, basides, starch. Some algae may store food in the form of oil droplets. Green algae usually have a rigid cell wall made of an inner layer of cellulose and an outer layer of pectose. Vegetative reproduction usually takes place by fragmentation or by formation of different types of spores. Asexual reproduction is by flagellated zoospore produced in zoosporingia. The sexual reproduction shows considerable variations in the type and formation of sex cells, and it may be isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous. Some commonly found green algae are Calamadomas, Volvax, Eulothrix, Spirogyra, and Chaera. Phaeophysia. The members of Phaeophysia or brown algae are found primarily in marine habitat. They show great variation in size and form. They range from simple branchiae filamentous from ectocarpus to profusely branched from as represented by kelp, which may reach a height of 100 meters. They possess chlorophyll A, C, carotenoid, and gentaphylls. They vary in color from oil green to various shaded of brown depending upon the amount of xanthophyll pigment fucoxanthin present in them. Food is stored as complex carbohydrate which may be in the form of laminarin or mannitol. The vegetative cells have a cellular wall usually covered on the outside by a gelatinous coating of algae. The protoplast contain in addition to plastids a certainly located vacuole and nucleus. The plant body is usually attached to the substratum by a holdfast and has a stalk and stipe and leaf-like photosynthetic organ, the frond. Vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation. Asexual reproduction in most brown algae is by biflagellate zoospore that are pear-shaped and have two unequal laterally attached flagella. Sexual reproductions may be isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous. Union of gametes may take place in water or within the oogonium. Oogamous species. The gametes are periform, pear-shaped, and bear two laterally attached flagella. The common forms are ectocarpus, dicotyledonous, laminary, sargassum, and fucus. Rhodophysis. The members of rhodophysis are commonly called relargae. Because of the predominance of the red pigment, are phycoerythrin in their body. Majority of these of the red algae are marine, with great concentration found in the warm areas. They occur in both well-lighted regions close to the surface of water and also at great depth in oceans where relatively little light penetrates. The red thalli of most of the red algae are multicellular. Some of them have complex body organization. The food is stored as fluoride starch. How complex body organization. The food is stored as fluoride starch, which is very similar to amylopectin and glycogen in structure. The red algae usually reproduce vegetatively by fragmentation. They reproduce asexually by non-motile spore and sexually by non-motile. या डर गया ना मैं अरे डर गया मैं